Hello, everyone. This is Cody Lee of BlackCatBooks.org, author of I, the Dragon, Cruel and Beautiful, Rabbit Hole, Lore and Fray, and the upcoming Jaw of the Dragon. So, it's time to take a trip down memory lane because I think a lot of people have kind of completely forgotten about this situation. This is something I don't really hear a lot of people talk about online, but I think this is a really good example of just how out of touch the general public is when it comes to how popular certain Nintendo franchises are, right? I think people were completely taken aback by the success of Animal Crossing New Horizons. And even now, even today, you see a lot of people downplaying it. Like, oh, it only did well because of the pandemic, and it only did well because of this or that, and making excuses for it, the Switch's popularity. There's all these justifications, all these excuses for it. But when you get right down to it, Animal Crossing has sold like 40 million units and has completely stomped Doom Eternal, the game that came out the same day that the industry insisted was going to be far bigger, far more popular, a far bigger deal than Animal Crossing. I explicitly remember this being like a thing on message boards, on NeoGAF, on Reset Era, is that like, how is Animal Crossing gonna compete with Doom, the iconic FPS, right? Because Doom is like a game for hardcore gamers, but no. When all is said and done, Animal Crossing just completely demolished Doom, right? I believe it sold how much has Doom Eternal sold? Less than 4 million units. It's not that much. And a lot of those sales were due to going on sale for $5. Doom Eternal was not successful by any stretch of the imagination. And that was with shills like Angry Joe giving it a perfect scores, downplaying Animal Crossing New Horizon. There was this very big push right off the gate. Even after it was evident that Animal Crossing was going to outsell Doom Eternal to downplay the game. You had people blitzing through the Animal Crossing, min-maxing it, saying that, oh, man, I beat this game in a couple of days by fast-forwarding the clock. And it's just well, that's not what you're supposed to do, you saw this, right? If you were paying attention like I did, you saw these people try and downplay the biggest Nintendo release. No. The biggest video game release of that year, right? There was a very big, concentrated push to try and pretend that Animal Crossing was not as big of a deal as it is. And now we're kind of in this weird phase where these same people are trying to pretend that Animal Crossing New Horizons is dead. That now that Nintendo has stopped updating the game, now that they moved on to Splatoon 3, that they abandoned the player base. There will be no more updates. There's no more fun to be had in Animal Crossing. The game is over. Never mind that people have put thousands of hours into it and will continue putting in thousands more. Never mind that the game is technically endless with its nature in general, just how it's designed and stuff like that. Oh no, now that it's not being constantly updated, that means the game is dead. It's as dead as ARMS, right? It's the same kind of logic, right? And we've been kind of seen the narrative shift. We're even starting to see this really fake rivalry between Animal Crossing and Splatoon, because Splatoon 3 is being blamed for killing Animal Crossing, or allegedly killing Animal Crossing, because it's the same team of people, right? The Splatoon team and the Animal Crossing team are the same. So I have seen people try and promote this weird rivalry between the two factions, even though they're both Nintendo games and they're both successful and they both have their audiences. It reminds me of how Metroid and Donkey Kong were pitted against each other when Tropical Freeze was announced, right? During that a Cranky Kong debacle. Retro Studios could be making a new Metroid game right now, and instead we're getting a Donkey Kong game that nobody asked for, right? It was that kind of thing, right? And it's so disrespectful to Nintendo. It's so disrespectful to these teams and the creativity they bring, and to the other franchises. Why exactly does it matter that Donkey Kong is getting a new game and Metroid isn't? Why exactly does it matter that Animal Crossing New Horizons has stopped getting updates? Why does it matter that, like, Star Fox hasn't gotten a new game since Zero, right? Like, why is there this constant whining and complaining about, like, iconic video game franchises? Like, I'm a big fan of F-Zero X, right? I technically have never gotten a real sequel to that game. I don't consider, like, the Game Boy Advance games or GX, like, to be a proper sequel. Like, I could have spent the past, like, 25 years bitching about that, but instead I just appreciate the game for what it is and, do this crazy thing called playing other Nintendo racing franchises. You have stuff like Excite Bike 64, you have 1080, you have, like, Diddy Kong Racing, the Mario Kart games. Like, there are so many, like, alternatives out there. I honestly don't even know, like, how exactly Nintendo would put out a new F-Zero other than, like, to say that they did. Like, I tend to side with Nintendo on this, is that, like, if they genuinely don't think they can, like, make a game better than F-Zero X, like, why would you want one, right? Like, it just doesn't make any sense to me. Like, Star Fox Zero is a really good example of just what I personally would want from, like, a new entry in a classic Nintendo IP, like something completely new, innovative, and different, right? It's insane. But with Animal Crossing, this damage control, right? This downplaying of this, like, the second most popular game on Switch, the most popular original game on Switch, the most popular game is Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Like, seeing these people, like, come up with all these weird excuses, all these weird justifications to not, like, be interested in Animal Crossing, to not talk about it, to downplay it, to try and pretend it wasn't all that successful. It's pathetic. It really absolutely is. Not enough people are talking about, like, just how much this game has been downplayed. It's already, like, one of the best selling games ever, and I don't understand why there's just so much ridiculous nonsense surrounding this release, the console it's on, and the company that makes the game. Like, you guys really need to stop complaining about every little thing that Nintendo does.